Alexander Mattison, we've already talked about Alexander Mattison potentially being traded away from the Vikings. I talked about this in the middle of this last season when Derrick Henry went down with an injury. I talked about how the Vikings should trade Mattison to the Tennessee Titans. And I got a lot of backlash from that. I mean, obviously, looking at the Vikings right now, Dalvin Cook is a stud. He's still top three, top five running back in the league. And the problem with Dalvin Cook is he's falling apart very fast. Let's be honest. Running backs of his size fall apart quick. Look at Le'Veon Bell. Look at Todd Gurley. Look at these running backs that play like Dalvin Cook who fell apart quick. Not only that, but he suffered with so many injuries, still leading to his downfall. So with that being said, we need a good backup running back. While Alexander Mattison, first 3 years of his career, has done a great job as a backup running back. He's started 6 games stepping in for Dalvin Cook. With that being said, Alexander Madison's not the only good backup running back that we have. And for that reason, I believe that we should trade him away because right now, this might be a bold prediction, but I believe Alexander Mattison has hit his peak in the league. With 6 career starts, he has 1,387 rushing yards, 8 total touchdowns, and 4.3 yards per carry. Looking at Alexander Madison's stats, I could pull it up if I needed to. Looking at the defenses that he played, those stats are not that great. Looking at a lot of the he's played against, he started against Detroit this last year. He started against the Seattle Seahawks. He started against some of the worst run stopping defenses in all of football, and he got those stats. So, with that being said, I believe the Vikings should trade him away because we have multiple other running backs on this roster who likely are going to be just as good as Alexander Mattison as a starter. And we've seen around the league where NFL teams are going, where they just load up on the offensive line and every running back looks good. Look at the Patriots. Their offensive line is unstoppable. That's why every running back looks good. You could throw me on the Patriots in the backfield and somehow I'll get 3-4 yards per carry. And I'm a skinny white guy, so I probably will not be able to be a good running back. But on the Patriots offensive line, there seems to always be a gap for the running backs to go. Look at Rahan, the Stevenson guy for the Patriots. That guy would not be we would not know who he was if he wasn't for the Patriots. Let's be honest. But looking at this Vikings team, Dalvin Cook, I still think is obviously going to be Dalvin Cook this next season. Looking forward, though, we have a lot of names to mention here. Kanate Nwangu just had an outstanding rookie season. He was the best rookie this last year for the Minnesota Vikings, mostly as a kick returner, but still the guy's a speedster and that man can run. So I'm excited to see what he can do year 2. And then Ty Chandler, who we just drafted from UNC in the 5th round. He's also another smaller guy, but he's very fast and he gets most of his yards in the receiving game. He could be a very good backup to Dalvin Cook. AJ Rose, we saw what he could do. He's a pure running back. That AJ Rose is a vintage pure running back that can play onto our team as well. We saw a little bit of him in the preseason. So there's multiple backs in this Vikings roster where we really don't need Alexander Mattison. Him going into his final year of his deal, we would have to look to making him a higher paid running back if we wanted to bring him back. Why not just trade him away? Because looking at Alexander Mattison, in my opinion, Madison's better than about 5 starting running backs out there, if not more. I mean, look at Alexander Mattison. Look at how Mattison, if we trade him to Buffalo Bills, I'm sure the Bills would be ecstatic to have Mattison on the roster. He's already better than Devin Singletary. He's already better than Zach Moss. So he would be a day one starter onto the roster. And then looking at maybe if we trade him away to New York Giants, I mean, Saquon suffers with injuries every year. Assuming Saquon's injured by week 5, they could be looking for a running back as well. So looking at multiple teams, we can get a second, third round draft pick for Madison. The guy is young. He's shown starting caliber talent. He would be a better running back on multiple different rosters. Let's be completely honest. And him going on to maybe, I really like him on the Buffalo Bills behind that offensive line. I think he would be such a good running back, especially with the Bills' offensive coaching staff. I think he'd be great on that roster. Still with the Giants, I think he'd be great. Giants have really invested into their offensive line these last few years. Watch out for the Giants, honestly. Like, I know it's the New York Giants, and you should never realistically consider the Giants a Super Bowl contender as of right now, but with Brian Dable in charge of that team, they have an entire new coaching staff, and getting Evan Neal in the first round. I mean, you still have Andrew Thomas on the offensive line. Like, they should be good going forward, and maybe with Alexander Mattison in the backfield can be a lot better. So I do like the idea of the Vikings trading away Mattison. As of right now, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think that would happen at all. But maybe a midseason trade. I like it a lot. And my prediction right now, by week By the deadline, by the trade deadline, the Minnesota Vikings will have traded away Alexander Mattison. That's my prediction right now because I realistically believe a lot of teams should be looking for him. He's going on to the last year of his deal, and he's better than a lot of starting running backs out there. I mean, let's be completely honest. And even without Mattison, we still have a great backfield. So that's why I think the Vikings should look to possibly trading away Mattison.